How we doing, everybody? Hope you're good. I'm just currently making a cup of tea. I do like a cup of tea. That's the Englishman in me. You drink coffee, I take tea, my dear. If you don't know what that is, that's a song by Sting called I'm an Englishman in New York. Remember those videos we used to make of me in the office back in, well, I say office, a bedroom I converted into a small office back in London. And I'd go to the window and I'd say, yes, it's grey today, another grey day. You're not going to believe this. So currently in Cyprus, it's grey and it's raining. You can't write it. You literally can't write this. I kid you not. Look at this. Freaking been raining, man. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you as I make my tea. I want to do a video today discussing, bear with me, I'm just making a cup of tea. So if you're staring at the kitchen wall, it won't last for long because I'm just making a cup of char. So I wanted to make a video today to explain exactly what I am doing in Cyprus, because I told you why I left. I told you why I wanted to move here. It was for better weather, mental health, well-being. Yeah, better weather. It's grey. You can't write it. And also because I'm starting a new business and it's better from an entrepreneur perspective to start the business in Cyprus. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what business I'm starting. And I'm going to share a little bit of advice with everyone. And I hope to anyone that is looking to make a move, starting something new, that this video helps you out. Don't know what that was, but that was a loud bang outside. Anyway, I hope this video turns out to help you. Just gonna get some milk, put it in my tea, and we'll crack on. By the way, if you ever do have milk, make sure it's always full fat, not semi-skimmed, not skimmed, because that means man has tampered with the milk, and the more man tampers with food, the more it's processed. So milk is supposed to have a bit of fat in it. Just don't have lots and lots of milk. I'm talking to you about milk on the basis that you don't have any gluten or lactose intolerances, all right? Put the milk back in the fridge. And let's crack on. So this is my kitchen stroke lounge. As you can see, my humble dwelling in Cyprus. And over here, I have a small kind of cave prison dungeon. And this is where I'm actually going to create my office eventually. So in here, I'm going to create an office where I'm going to have my computer and work items over there. And against this wall here, I'm actually going to put my DJ equipment. Yes, I DJ. Just as a hobby. So it's going to become a music media work studio. And there I'm going to put a kind of cabinet for all my records. Anyway, back into the kitchen loungey type place. This is where I am building my business. And this is where I sit every day and I do my work. So when you start out, it's very humble. It's not full of wow and pizzazz and glitz and big offices and shiny buildings and all of that. No, it's literally this next to a washing machine. and this is the sacrifice I had to make. And when you do start a business, guys, you have to make sacrifices. And there's my company that I'm going to build. Great Apes. Evolving intelligence. Straight up the camera a bit. In fact, we need a bit of light, I think. There we go. So Yeah, I made a lot of sacrifices coming to Cyprus. You know, I had a really nice car in London. That's gone. Now I've got a crappy little Mitsubishi, which is doing me well. I shouldn't really call it crap, which I'm leasing from a company called Andy's Motors. I'm renting a house, which is very basic. It's nice though. It's got like the nice brickwork, traditional Cypriot brickwork, but I haven't got this fancy pad. And, you know, I'm by myself on my own, sitting here on a computer. So it's quite lonely, but this is what it looks like when you start out, when you're building something new for the first time. It's you, yourself, and probably a computer. And I'm going to look back at this video one day, and you should too, right? You should look back at your journey and say, do you remember when I started in that house on a kitchen table next to the washing machine, trying to build a business? And I had a really basic, simple car outside to run around and do my shopping, go to the gym, do my errands and whatnot. That's how it is, guys. That's how it is. It will be good one day to look back and say, freaking hell, do you remember that kitchen? Anyway, so this is the company. It's called Great Apes. It's an artificial intelligence company, and what I'm essentially going to be doing with my friend who lives in London, JP, we're building the company together, although the business is going to be located in Cyprus. He's going to be doing more of the development and delivery. I'm doing more of the sales, marketing and operations. It's an artificial intelligence company that's going to be implementing AI into small and medium-sized businesses. Why have I chosen this? Because this is where the world is heading. This is the next wave of digital tech, and I really think there's a huge financial opportunity in this space. I was a football coach for 12 years, loved it, met so many amazing parents, wonderful kids, great team of coaches. We won trophies, we won awards, it was fun. It was just an enjoyable business. But like all things, everything has an expiry date, everything comes to an end, and I just felt it was time to change direction. And a lot happened. I lost my mum to COVID. My dad had a stroke, became semi-disabled, so having to take care of him with my brother and my sister. And it was a time for a lot of reflection, a time for a lot of thinking and asking myself, what do I want? What do I want the next 10 years to look like? Do I want to keep doing this? And you know what? I felt it deep inside me. It was time to move, and it was time to change and reset. And this is where I've landed, so to speak. And I'm sure you've got your reasons for starting your new business or starting your new journey and going down a different path. We've all got our reasons. That's mine. This is the company we are going to build, Great Apes Evolving Intelligence. It's actually an artificial intelligence automation agency. So we're going to implement artificial intelligence into small, medium-sized businesses. And the plan is to work with companies implementing artificial intelligence or developing it for their companies, and then finding a niche that we can focus on when we see an opportunity and becoming a leading authority in that space in terms of implementing and developing artificial intelligence. And then we will build off the back of that. Info products, coaching courses, SaaS, software for companies, and maybe even joint ventures and business partnerships where we become your AI partner for your business. That's where the real money is. There's a lot of good money there to be had, but we've got to start here, which is doing jobs for free so that we can gain experience, we can gain skills, and that's essentially what you can then charge money for, right? Because once you've got skill and once you've got experience, put that together, you've got value, and it's the value that you're going to sell. We don't have any value at the moment because we need to develop the skills and we need to get experience using those skills. And when we get those two together, we've got value. Now we've got products and services we can sell. And once we've got those products and services that we're selling, we can find the niche and we become a leading authority, an expert in that space. And as long as we deliver on what we promise the client, then we grow in credibility. And that's what we market. We market our credibility and our authority in the space. That can allow us to then go on to developing info products, coaching courses, developing SaaS for the niches or the niche that we choose to go into, and ideally joint ventures and partnerships with other companies. That's where the big money is. And beyond that, I do have a grand idea with JP, my business partner, but I can't talk to you about that because it's so big. Very few people ever reach there. And if we reach there, it will be, I mean, it's unreal because we're talking about infrastructure. You know, there's a lot of money in this world in whatever you do, but the big money is always in the infrastructure. What do I mean by that? Let's pick a profession. So someone that teaches people how to drive. Okay. You can make money being a driving instructor. The big money is at owning a business where you employ lots of driving instructors and you have a company called ABC Driving School of Excellence. And through all the skills and expertise you've built, you build a business where lots of people provide the service. You take a commission from each of them and they teach the world how to drive whilst you need to find business for all the drivers, which you're going to take a cut off. This business, by the way, is probably going to collapse soon well, actually might not. There's going to be driverless cars very soon. So let's see how that works out. But the idea is, yes, you can drive a car and teach people how to drive it. There's money in that, but there's more money in owning a driving school that's got lots of drivers. But the infrastructure is where the money is. Where's the infrastructure? The people that build the cars. The people that build the roads. The people that provide the fuel for the cars. That's the mega money. Because everyone needs fuel for their car, whether it's electric, petrol, diesel, gas. Everyone or most people use cars. And cars, they drive on roads. Who owns the roads? Who charges a fee for you to drive on the roads? So it's the infrastructure that's the big money. We do have a big play for Great Apes, but I mean, we've got to do so much to get even into the conversation of infrastructure that we're years ahead of that. So baby steps, step by step. The beginning bit is to just get the company off the ground and just develop some skills and some expertise that we can then associate value to and then begin to charge clients. Anyway, so this is Great Apes. Every single day I sit here and I work. So this is my Teams app that I share with JP so we can go through our work, and I'm currently reading up on pricing as I structure the business. But one thing I wanted to share with you guys is this. Whatever you do when you start out, you need to know why you're getting out of bed. And people will say, oh, what's your why? What's your purpose? Listen, don't worry about all that. You know why you're doing something. It could be as simple as, I've got to put food on the table for the family. I've got to pay the rent. I've got to pay the mortgage. I've got to keep the lights on. I've got to pay for the water bill. That could be your why. It could be that simple. It could be something far deeper and more spiritual, and you've seen the light and you have a purpose. Whatever it is. When I wake up in the morning, I look at this and I read this and I ask myself this: whatever I do today, am I developing new technical expertise, or am I developing some lead flow, or am I developing being an authority and credibility? What do I mean by this? You just need to get going. You know, what's your purpose? What's my why? And just get going. Start. Whatever it is, start. And every day's got to be dedicated to either developing more skills in what you want to be known for, or developing lead flows, i.e. generating customer leads, or are you becoming an authority? Are you having credibility? What's authority? What's credibility? Authority is being regarded as an expert in a particular field. Credibility is being regarded as someone who delivers on their promises. You need credibility and authority. You need both. A simple way of looking at this is technical expertise, skills, lead flow, sales, authority and credibility, marketing. Think of it like that, because technical expertise essentially is just developing skills that people want to pay for. You could be a plumber. I've got skills in fixing boilers. Yeah, I need someone to fix my boiler. So skills, lead flow, generating customer leads, but you've got to convert those customers into paying customers, sales. So really lead flow is sales. And authority and credibility, that's what you're going to market. I'm going to market that I'm the expert. I'm going to market that I've got credibility. When I say something, I mean it and I deliver it. So essentially, every single day, are you working on developing skills, sales, marketing? You've got to be working on one of these three, if not all of them. Operations, HR, customer service, logistics, accounting, bookkeeping. Listen, that will sort itself out. You'll figure it out. You'll do that. But if you don't have skills, you've got nothing to sell. If you've got skills and you're not marketing it, no one knows you've got the skills. And if you're not marketing it, how are people going to come to you so that you can convert them into customers, sales? Any business you get into, you've got to focus on skills, marketing, and sales. They're the three. Everything else, don't focus on that. Dedicate a little bit of time to it, but this is where your energy needs to go. Skills, marketing, and sales. I need a cup of tea here. A little swig of the tea. Do you know what? I love tea. I'm so English in my drinking habits. I like tea. I do like a cold beer, but I've cut down the alcohol massively. I barely drink. I hardly ever drink. But if I do see a cold beer, I have to fight my demons not to have some, because I do like a cold beer, especially the one in Cyprus, Keo. Back in England, I used to like a Guinness, a really cold pint of Guinness, or I think it's a company called Brewdog. They did a bottled beer called Dead Pony. I think it's called Dead Pony. I could be wrong. Anyway, back to talking about business. Yeah, so focus on skills, marketing, and sales. Everything else will sort itself out. And then if everything goes well, you've built this wonderful business, you're making good money, then what you've got to focus on isn't sales, isn't marketing, isn't skills. Still keep an eye on it, but what you've got to focus on is recruitment. Once you're big, the most important job is to focus on recruitment. Recruiting the best you can to do the tasks that you're no longer going to do, to oversee your teams so you can focus on the next stage of the business, i.e. negotiations and contracts for business partnerships, joint ventures. Remember I said once the business is doing well, coaching courses, info products, SaaS, joint ventures and partnerships, these two. Focusing on that stuff and let the team run the other stuff. But you need to hire great people to do that. Again, I'm jumping ahead, way ahead. But I'm just sharing with you my vision. That's the vision. That's the journey I'm starting on. And I sit here in my kitchen by myself. I chat to GP. GP is a doctor in the UK, general practitioner. I chat to JP in London, and we're working on this together. So this is how it starts. This is why I'm in Cyprus. And I will say this. I find my head is in a much better place here to do this than back in London. In London, the distractions, the noise, the toxicity of news and politics, and everyone's head down, moaning. One thing I've noticed here in Cyprus, there's a lot of people that are here to push themselves, that have moved here. I didn't realize there was such an expat community of people from Europe, UK, Germany, quite a few from Poland, China, are all here, and they're pushing. And I did not expect that. I've met a few people, and I'm actually a little bit excited by it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to compare it to London, because London's a melting pot of just go-getters. But from a mental health perspective, I've got such a clear head here, and it feels good. So anyway, guys, look, I hope this message, as always, serves you well. I hope one day that you see this company, Great Apes. I remember that guy. He was sitting in his kitchen in Cyprus. Oh my God, he owns Great Apes. That would be amazing if that happens. But that's a little insight into what I'm up to and what I'm doing. And I'm right at the beginning of the journey. Long way to go. Let's see where it takes us. Look after yourself as always. Enjoy the things that you enjoy doing. And don't be scared to just start your new path. And if it's business related, skills, marketing, sales. All right, until the next one, peace.